Parma are taking their new life among football's jet set firmly in their stride. They've come to London in style, a party of 390 split between 4 hotels. The squad is segregated from their spouses, but that and the 8:30 evening curfew aside, Parma have adopted their usual relaxed approach. They haven't forgotten, though, that this will be the biggest game in their history.
Giocare a Wembley non capita spesso e di frequente, quindi noi speriamo di disputare un'ottima gara, di portare a casa una coppa che forse all'inizio sembrava impossibile, ma che adesso può diventare un sogno realizzabile.
Però era importante anche vedere Londra, è importante giocare in uno stadio come Wembley, che è veramente mitico.
It will be strange because Wembley, it's not a field like another. It's the temple of the football, and for us it's a great experience.
Breakfast on that second day was unexpectedly fine, so the planned sightseeing tour of London got started a little late. It was never destined for success, though, based as it was on the principle that it only takes an hour and a half to see London. The players moved off with some initial confusion at being on the wrong side of the road and when the driver stopped for a red light. What with the mid-morning traffic, there was no time to alight at the Houses of Parliament, the Tower of London or St Paul's, so 90 minutes of exhaust fumes later, the coach unloaded back at the hotel. Well, after the shambles of Parma's whirlwind tour of London's traffic jams came the more official business of the press conference. An international selection of journalists awaits. English, Colombian, Italian, Belgian, and as would be the case all week, their questions to coach Nevio Scala centred around Faustino Asprilla. The Colombian striker has been the star of Parma's season, scoring 3 decisive goals on their Cup Winners' Cup trail. But after a severe leg injury and recent leave for his mother's funeral, his presence in the final has become the week's big cliffhanger.
Gamba molto bene, sto lavorando come tutti in questi momenti. Dolore no, niente dolore, solo un po' di paura. Per me personalmente mi dispiacería molto non poter giocare, però credo che la squadra sta bene, lo ha dimostrato senza di me.
That afternoon, Parma got their first taste of the hallowed turf with a kick-around at Wembley, and Asprilla showed that despite his time off, he hasn't lost that cat-like grace. He had a good practice, though, but despite that, his close friend Marco Ozio looked increasingly likely to take the Colombian's place in the side. The final against Antwerp comes exactly a month after Faustino Asprilla injured himself in circumstances still somewhat unclear. Asprilla himself says that he slipped and fell on a bottle getting out of a swimming pool. Colombian journalists say he cut his leg kicking in a bus's headlights. Whatever, Parma now face the possibility of playing this game against Antwerp without the man who's done more than anybody else to get them to this final.
E Tino è un mese e più che manca dal calcio, per lo più un infortunio. Quindi metterlo dentro in una finale così secondo me è rischioso, però anche questo è il mister che deve decidere.
Io voglio che la squadra sia al massimo delle condizioni e preferisco un giocatore molto, molto in forma, sano, che un giocatore bravo un po' malato. Lui ha recuperato molto bene, però ecco, mi riservo domani, c'è ancora allenamento, mi riservo domani per decidere.
Nevio Scala has been with Parma 4 years, and each year he's taken the club to a level of success previously unthinkable. His first season saw the club winning their first ever promotion to Italy's top division Serie A. The next year they won immediately a UEFA Cup place. Last season saw them have their historic Coppa Italia win against Juventus, and this season, of course, has seen their extraordinary run of successes in the Cup Winners' Cup.
Siamo arrivati così a questa finale delle coppe direi in poco tempo e credo che questo che sia un premio per una società, una città che ha lavorato tanto.
Sono orgoglioso di quello che i miei giocatori hanno fatto, io ho contribuito nella mia piccola parte.
Scala is modest, but his importance is such that he's the one member of the team whose wife is allowed to stay in the same hotel.
L'allenatore comanda e allora queste cose le deve decidere lui, ma a parte gli scherzi non è un problema. Mia moglie non la vedo mai, non l'ho mai vista, è sempre in giro a vedere Londra. Stasera va a teatro, io andrò a dormire, spero che torni presto e quindi mi lascerà dormire un po' di più.
Okay, domani lei verrà alla partita?
Mia moglie sì, e forse anch'io.
The day of the match dawns with a special treat for Parma. The household cavalry happens past Parma's informal kickabout round the back of the hotel. The game is now 9 hours away. After a half hour's light training in the park, the players had the rest of the morning free to do as they please. So to help take his mind off things, we took Marco Ozio to the local Tower Records to help fill in the holes in his Julio Iglesias collection.
In Spanish?
Luciano Pavarotti. Actually, the Parma striker has a pretty encyclopedic knowledge of British music. As we entered the store, he made straight for happening sounds like The Fall, The Cure and New Order. With Ozio now definitely filling in for Asprilla in the big final that night, I knew he needed something a little extra special, and I found it.
This one, Marco, is really brilliant.
It's moments like this that forge a special relationship between player and reporter. Back at the hotel shortly afterwards, and finally there are some signs of nerves. The team gets ready to leave on their final leg of their journey to the Cup. Over at Wembley, meanwhile, the Parma fans are gathering. Parma is a town of just 150,000 people, 13,000 of whom have come to the game. Travelling on 37 planes and countless coaches, they've joined around 5,000 more fans from the Italian community in London. The Belgians are here too, and there's even more of them. 20,000 have crossed the channel to be at Wembley Stadium.
This is our holy temple.
And do you really stand a chance of winning?
Yeah, of course. We are going to win.
You're a Parma fan but live here in London.
Actually, I'm a Juventus fan who lives in Birmingham, but I've come to the game because I watch the football match every Saturday on Gazzetta, then on Sunday we watch the game.
Right, who do you think's going to win then?
Today, I think Parma will win 2-1, definitely. No extra time or anything. Better not be, we've got to get home in time.
We're quite sure that the Englishmen are going, the Belgians are going to win. We're going to eat those spaghettis.
I come from Mitcham. There's nobody left.
Parma, like is a small town club. 7 years from the third division up to Serie A, and now a game at Wembley it's a dream, no?
It is, yeah. It's fantastic. I think they achieved really something fantastic. For a small city like tonight, I think they're going to really do it.
Asprilla is one of the best.
One of the best, definitely one of the best players we've got. And I think there should be 6,000 Colombians just coming to support Parma.
Yeah.
Who actually live here in England.
Well, what a cosmopolitan crowd they are. They come from all over the world and Mitcham, and they're currently streaming through the Wembley gates. We ought to go inside ourselves now because kickoff is just moments away. Let's go now to match coverage.
Parma's relaxed approach soon paid off in the game, forcing Stojanovic into a good early save from Alessandro Melli's diving header. The exiled Yugoslav, whose goalkeeping heroics almost single-handedly won the European Cup for Red Star Belgrade in 1991, made a superb stop. But from the corner, he showed the other side to his nature, flapping wildly at the cross. Lorenzo Minotti made the most of his opportunity, looping home a shot. Already the Parma players and their fans could sense it was going to be their night. Stojanovic came too far off his line for Ossio's corner, and the Parma captain was in the right place to take full advantage. But Parma's lead lasted only 2 minutes. Careless defending in midfield led to Zerato giving the ball away. It was fed through to Severines, and he gave Balotto no chance. This time it was the Antwerp fans' chance to celebrate. Severine's good running opening up the Parma defence after Zerato's original error. And what a good left-footed finish by the former Pisa striker. Parma refused to gamble on the fitness of Faustino Asprilla, and the decision paid off when Melli headed home their second goal on the half-hour. A superbly flighted cross from Ossio caught the goalkeeper in no man's land, and Melli rose above a defender to nod it home. A superbly worked free kick between Minotti and Kouaghi ended with Melli rifling home what appeared to be a second, only for the linesman to flag for offside. The replay shows he was actually level when the ball was played through. Parma missed several other chances to make the game safe, but they eventually succeeded 7 minutes from time. Ironically, it was the Belgian international Grun who sealed Antwerp's fate with a long through pass. Kouaghi's run beat the offside trap, and after a moment's hesitation, he resisted the chance to pass and shot past Stojanovic instead. After racing clear, it was a good finish by Kouaghi. He deserved the hugs of his manager, Nevio Scala. A brilliant season for him and his team, and for the 18,000 Parma fans in the crowd of just under 40,000. So, victory for Parma by 3-1, and the first of the season's European trophies lifted by Lorenzo Minotti for Parma. Can Juventus follow their lead on Wednesday in the UEFA Cup final? Highlights in next week's Gazzetta. With Milan at the Champions Cup final, an Italian clean sweep is on the cards.
3 anni fa, 4 anni fa, quando eravamo ancora in Serie B, non avremmo mai pensato che in 3 anni si potesse arrivare a tanto. No?
C'è già una festa negli spogliatoi, c'è stato vedere il signor Tanzi così in una vasca, tutto bagnato, con suo figlio.
E lui è finito in bagno?
Sì, è pieno di dirigenti così, e anche il mister è scappato, penso, l'ha fatto in tempo, però credo che fa capire proprio la gioia che c'è in questo momento.
Sicuramente alla vigilia l'ho sognato tanto, penso che è un gol che mi porterò nel cuore e dentro di me per sempre, perché segnare a Wembley in un appuntamento del genere credo che sia indimenticabile.
È stato il discorso di questa settimana,
Sì, alla fine l'ho abbracciato che questa è anche la sua vittoria, perché è un giocatore di grande qualità che ha fatto gol nel momento in cui noi avevamo bisogno che lui facesse gol. Adesso lui si tufferà in campionato e saprà darci le soddisfazioni che questa sera hanno dato gli altri suoi compagni.
So, there was no Aprilia, but the Parma miracle continues anyway. They get a second major trophy to add to last season's Coppa Italia, and they'll be back defending their title in this tournament next season. In the meantime, the Italian clubs head towards a clean sweep in the European club competitions. Parma, and myself for that matter, head back to Italy. And Parma fans, from Emilia-Romagna to Mitcham, go home happy.